Some secret ways and how to hook bait on that people don't know about. Don't be the last one to find out. Stay tuned. So then, fishing buddies, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, what I'm going to be doing is showing you what I do getting all my bait ready, get it prepped, ready for the morning. As you can see, about 8:05 at night, getting all my bait ready for tomorrow to go fishing with one of my mates and see how we get on. Got loads of different ideas coming up in the next few weeks. We've got underwater footage on this new pond we've got. We're going to get boat ready, we're going to take that out, try a bit of drop shot in, this, that and other. So a bit of mixed variety. If there's anything you want to know or any tactics that you want to learn about or anything, please leave a comment in the comment section below and we'll see if we can get through to your needs. Right, without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into this video and crack on and see how we get on. So we're going to start off. What I've done is I've got my bread ready for tomorrow. I've liquidised my bread. There's quarter tin sweet corn in there. You see from my video last week at Fernska, I was catching on this. I've put a few pellets in there. This time of year, fish are going to want to start building up, ready for spawning. Anything like this is a perfect ground bait. If you can't go out and buy expensive ground bait, this is a perfect ground bait to go out and use. You can put it in a method feeder, or you can boil it up and it does break down into surfaces. If you want to add a bit of water when you get there, but I want to get this ready and put it all into a bag, put it in the fridge, ready for the morning, get up in the morning, get it out of the fridge and we're ready to go. So as you can see here, tomorrow I want to bring in cage feeder and one of these no hybrid feeders that's got elasticated. You can do these yourself, you don't have to go out and buy elastics. So I'll show you quickly, let's move these out of the way, I'll show you quickly how to load up your feeder for different scenarios. Now your cage feeder, what you do is plug it in bottom. So you put a plug in bottom like that, put your maggots in or whatever you're doing, and then feed it, put some more in, make your plug, put your maggots in. Now depending if you want to fish on bottom to get a little squeeze, if you want that to break up on top, it'll break up and that will easily come out. If it's surface layers, mid water and top surfaces, and if you want it to get down to the bottom, what you do is put a few on top and a few on bottom, find out where the fish are feeding and get a good squeeze like that. I've tried to show this on camera last week, but it's better like this. You can see that takes a lot more pushing out. That'll break down. Leave it on bottom for a couple of seconds and get a good pull with your rod, and that will empty your feeder. Now with these hybrid feeders, the mix is a bit too dry at the moment. It needs to be adding water tomorrow, so I can use my mould tomorrow. But just to show you for demonstration, what I'm going to do is put that in. What I found last week, where as long as it weren't too stodgy, I will get my bait. So I've got a piece of sweet corn. It's not the correct way to hook your sweet corn on this, but I'm just going to show you for demonstration. So pretend that's a maggot or whatever, that'll be on. And last week I was putting that in and I was burying it. Now I found it took a lot longer to get a bite like that, because this has got to come off, fish swim around it, obviously your bait drops near your feeder. So what I found last week was to fluff it up and then stick your corn, just the hook, push the hook into it like that, bury the hook, put a bit of bread round it, tie a little bit more, just enough, so that we're on top. And what happens is that breaks down a lot quicker. It's just come off the hook. That broke down a lot quicker, and then what had happened is that bait would have been on the hook and that would have fell out a lot quicker, so that would have been catching fish a lot faster. Now in a match situation, that's what you need to do. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do maggots, how to do worms, different ways of doing corn. There's all different ways of doing corn, and like I say, it's coming to that time of year where fish are wanting proteins and things like that, so worms are good bait, luncheon meat's a good bait. We've got a brilliant video, it's had over 20,000 views on how to do your luncheon meat. If you're doing luncheon meat for a river, you leave the fat on because it would draw the fish up the swim. But when we're fishing commercials, what we're doing, we're taking the fat out. So we boil the fat out, get rid of the fat. It sinks at a different rate when it has got the fat in it. It sinks faster. So it gets to the bottom. And sometimes with that attraction of that fat, what happens is the F1s, or where the F1s mainly usually happens, is there's that many fish in the swim. They come in, they're pecking away, and they're doing what they're doing, and you foul hook them, or you attract too many F1s into your swim, and what'll happen is then you start pushing fish out your swim because you're losing fish because it's disturbing the swim. So what we do is we feed to catch that one fish only, and then move on to the next fish. That's the idea. Try and get 2 or 3 fish in the swim, but you don't want to be piling that much bait in that you've got that many fish. You're getting foul up fish, they're pushing fish out at swim. So I'm showing you now how to do different ways of doing sweet corn. There's a nice way of doing it where it pops up off the bottom. If it's a silty bottom and stuff, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. And I'm going to change this hook and show you really quickly. Put one of these size 16 hooks on, DEARNE. You get a pack of, I think there's about 10 in this, and they do come with a band. You see the band. Now where a lot of people go wrong, or a lot of beginners go wrong, what I've noticed is get the hook, they get the sweet corn, and they can either hook it on that way, or they hook it on sideways, like that, and they bury the hook. This is how we were taught when we were younger. If you look, there's no hook point showing there. So what happens is, fish comes along, it pulls on it, there's no hook point, so you don't go hook the fish. So I'm going to show you how to hook corn on, start off with. So if you go down to your local tackle shop, and you buy one of these bait bands, bait banding tools, that opens your bait band up, they're about £3 or £4 to buy. And you can get a set of baiting needles, about the same price, £3 or £4. You usually get a drill and some other bits. But this is what you're going to need to do what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you now. So get your sweet corn, you put your bait band through it, like that. Get your bait band underneath, and you pull your bait band through like that, and that piece of corn will stay on the hook. You can see how that hook's protruding. You're going to catch a fish. Fish comes along, that hook, don't hook it into my finger on purpose, but that hook is sharp and it hooks like that. That is one of the best way to hook on a piece of corn. You don't need a bait band stop at the end of there. The fish will feel that and they'll reject it. So another way you could do it, the older way I used to do it, and pull this through. You can get your bait band with one of these tools, open it up like that, get a piece of corn, click it into place and pull it through, just like that. Like I say, excuse me, like I say, the hook's still there, you can see the hook. This is the older way I used to do it. Yeah, it'll still work, but I find the other way, personally for myself, is easier to do it that way. So next, what I want to show you about the sweet corn is, you can go out, you can buy these fake sweet corn. Now this stuff floats, which is a good thing. I want to show you. Obviously I've been doing underwater footage, and I've noticed that some of the bottoms of the lakes where I've been fishing are about 4 inch of silt. So your feeder will drop to the bottom, make its way into the silt, and then your hook bait drops out, it just disappears. So that's why I've been using dead red maggots or whatever I've been using. But doing this sweet corn, I've got one of these, got a pair of scissors, and I've cut it into 3 or 4 little bits. Now if you try it in sync and play about with it, you'll find out what size you need to make it float. So you can use a bigger piece, smaller piece. Now the other needle that you get, one of these piercing needles, pierce through it. So get your piece, really fiddle it, touch your fingers, don't hurt yourself. So pierce through it like that. Like I said, be careful because it's really sharp this end. And what you can do then is get a piece of corn, And what I tend to do is just scrape a bit of the middle out, just a little bit, and that'll allow that to pull into that. And then with your baiting needle, put this one on first. So put that on first, your floaty one, that's on. Then your piece of corn, but the opposite way around to which I showed you. So this end there, if you can see that on camera. Under your baiting needle, pull down, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, and that should stop that from coming out. There you go. Now that, if I go and put that in sync, now that should naturally pop up a little bit. Like I say, if you can work out how much, that bigger piece might have been better. But let's have a fiddle about with it, and there you go. Just pop it into the sink. You can see how that's popping up. So that'll drop in, and that fish comes past swim, so it acts like a wafter. So if you use the piece of corn, that'll give the scent off as a normal piece of corn, and like I say, that wafts up. If you put a bigger piece on, it's wafting up too much. You could always put a shot there, so that's just popping up off the bottom. So if you learn your local venue and how silty it is on the bottom, you'll know how much to pop that up by. Now that's a brilliant method, because like I say, it's like a wafter. They come in, so the bait was already on the net, so they come in, they're munching away on bait, eating what they see, and they see this floating about, pick it up, boom, fish on. Easy as that. So that's sweet corn. Right, we're going to go on to a different bait now. So luckily I've got a bait fridge. So if you used a big drawer, it gives them plenty of space to be able to move about. These maggots I think are about 4 days old now, and still perfectly fine to use. See a few bits, and you do pull these bits out, get rid of it. That's rubbish, so get rid of that. So yeah, these maggots are perfectly fine to use. There's about a pint and a half of maggots in there. These will last for a couple of weeks in a bait fridge. But obviously, like I say, I haven't put it in a maggot tub. I've left them at bottom. As long as they don't get damp, they'll not get out. But it's a bait fridge after all. So doing your maggots. Now there's all different ways of hooking maggots. And when I was younger, I was shown to hook it through that bit, the fatter part, and a little bit of skin. I used to hook it on like that. But the best way to do it is the skinny bit. Get your hook, push it through. If it bursts, get rid of it. So we're going to go double white. Pretend we're fishing for double white. And there's plenty of hook points showing there. You can see that. Plenty of hook points showing. There you go. So you can actually put 3 maggots, 4 maggots, 5 maggots. There's 5 maggots on a size 16 hook, and there's still plenty of hook points showing. Look. I think you could get away with 5, probably 6. But that's that. That's how you do your maggots. There is another way of doing maggots. I'll show you this in a second. So another way of doing maggots is fishing double maggot. 1 through the thin part, 1 through the fatter section, like I show you. Now if these burst, they're no good. That's another way of hooking maggots on. Trial and error, keep trying them, keep trying different methods. So I'm just going to get rid of these maggots second. So the next time you're out fishing and fish are up in water, you want a slow drop on your maggot. Best thing to do is like that. Hook it through its side. This will drop down a lot slower, and fish As the in surfaces, top surfaces or middle surfaces going down, layers, we'll pick that up and that'll drop down natural as well. That's another little tip for you. Another quick little tip before you go on to the next bait is the juices out of this. See the juice that's coming out? That is a brilliant attractor that you can put in your ground bait. Brilliant stuff. Don't ever throw that away. Always put it in your ground bait. If you're not going to use it, put it into a pot bottle. Put it into your bait fridge if you've got a bait fridge at home. What I do, put it in one of these. Put it in a milk carton or pot bottle. It's up next day. Tip it in with a bit of pond water. Tip it in. You've got yourself some extra attraction. And if you're not going to use this, put it in one of these and leave it in your fridge, in your bait fridge, and that'll last up to 6 weeks. If you're spending £1 something on a tin of this every time you go in, what's one of them cost you? Nothing. Everybody's got these in their house. Just get it, put it in, tip it in, straight into your fridge. It's safe for next time. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go really quickly. Like I say, if you watch my channel, you know I've got a wormery. I'm going to get a few worms. Going on to the sweet corn, never ever ever add water at your tap, because what it is, there's all chemicals what they put in the water for us to be able to drink it as human beings, and I believe myself that fish don't like that. So obviously that's why I use tap safe and everything else. So I think they pick up on it. So I personally will not put water in. If you go outside and there's a bucket of water because it's been raining, use a bit of water out of that, put it into your tub and put it in to your fridge. If you want to store them for a bit longer, that's the best thing to do. But do not use tap water. It's a definite no-no in my personal opinion. So I'm going to show you really quickly where you can get worms and then how I put worms on the correct way that I believe. So I just want to show you really quickly where I get some of my worms from. Obviously that's my bins. And I've got some matting. Some of this matting. Not wide, about half a metre wide, about 3 metre long. If I peel this back, rain adjusted up, like that. Obviously I've got my wormery, and what they usually do, they entangle into this and stay in it. Let's peel this back. Another one there, look. Another one there, one there, one there. I'll put a little bit of soil underneath. Oh, there's none tangled up. I'll take these, just show you how to put these worms on. So you've just seen where I got them worms from, a little bit of astroturf. Yeah. So something was somebody throwing away. You can actually use a piece of carpet, and if you get a concrete floor, put a little bit of soil off your garden, about yay deep, just underneath it. And what happens when it rains is, the worms will go under there. As soon as it starts raining, they'll go into there. As soon as it stops raining, go out, pick your worms out, put them in your tub. And like I say, I have got a wormery. There is a video on the wormery, and I'll leave the link to that in the description below, to how to build a wormery. Brilliant way. Worms are getting really expensive to buy, so if you can get worms cheap. So, getting a size 16 hook. If you can use whisker barbed where you fish, if it allows, whisker barbed hooks are better because it will hold your worm on. But I'll show you another way. I'll show you another way to hold your worm on, if not. So, that's size 16 hook. Now, what we'll do is get one of these dendrobinas. There you go, that's your worm. What we're going to do is get the worm and break it straight in half. Sometimes people look them further up here, but what I like to do is use about half the worm, break it in half. I know it's on my kitchen side, it will be cleaned up. So there's your half a worm. Once again, you can either hook it through a smaller point. As you can see, there's plenty of hook point showing there. I can show you on camera. See, that's plenty of hook point showing. That's a size 16. Or you can actually hook it the other way around. Just through the top. Like that. and that'll wriggle a lot. And you see these natural juices are coming out. Now what you need to do is, if you ever break your worm like that when you're fishing for a day, and you put that back in your tub, you put that back in your wormery, that will actually kill your worms in your wormery. I found that out through my own experience. So that's that way. You can use double worm, which I'd do that way. Knock that on the bigger piece through the smaller part. That's double worm, like that. Nice bait for a carp or a tench. Now if you want to keep this worm on, like I say, if it's not, these are barber soaks. If you want to keep this worm on, I'll show you a quick way of doing this. Give me 1 second. Back into the bait fridge. So you get red maggot. I usually use a red one. And put that like that, and that will hold it on. And there is somebody I know who actually gets a tiny little piece of rubber band and puts a little rubber band there. I've not got any rubber bands to hand. We could put a little piece of rubber band, pull it through, and hook it on. So if that was your rubber band, so let's just say this was your rubber band, piece of rubber band, you get your rubber band and you hook it through, and that would naturally hold that worm in place, so that worm can't wriggle off. There's a few more ideas on how to hook different baits. That's some ideas on different baits and things. Like I said, I'm off fishing tomorrow. I've got a lot planned for this week and for next week, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not the best fisherman in the world, but if I can help you a lot, put some extra fish on bank and save money while doing it, I'll show you what I know. So that's the whole reason I do these videos, try and show you a lot as well, and it's good for myself. Don't forget, if you haven't already, check all the Facebook groups we're in. I will leave a link in the description below to every single Facebook group that we're in, that we're posting and stuff. I'll also leave a link to our Facebook group, New Beginnings Fishing. If you want to come and join us on bank, give us a shout, and you can come and join us on bank, and me and Kevin or Matt Man or any other fishing buddies will gladly come and join you, or come and join if we're in that area. We've nearly hit 1,500 subscribers. I think we're about 15-20 subscribers off. Don't forget, we're having a £50 prize draw for that. It's free. It's all free to have a go on. It's either for Anglers Direct, you can have £50 for Fishing Republic, or you can have the £50 cash in your pocket if you don't actually go fishing, but you still watch this content, and we'll send it your cash, not a problem. And I will leave the link in the description to the video, and all you've got to do is answer what person did I film that day. It's as simple as that. It's easy. Just make sure you subscribe, give us a quick thumbs up, and that's it. So until next time, I hope this video has helped you with a few tips and tricks on how to do your baits. And until next time, from me, Kevin, and everybody else, New Beginnings Fishing, take care all, and see you again. Now, unlike last week, I have got a brew. I will see you in too. And don't forget to check out one of the videos. Till next time, take care all.